Hey guys, so this is the first daily practice class that I'm sharing with you, and I wanted to make this the most accessible, easiest class of all. And so I thought what I would share to start with is the stuff that I do when I'm doing other stuff. The nice thing about footwork and the nice thing about this work is that it doesn't have to be in an exercise studio, it doesn't have to be in front of a video, and you're going to get a lot more frequency of inputs if you start to broaden your mind about when you can do this work. So I wanted to start getting you thinking about the fact that you can do footwork when you're doing other things. My suggestion to you is that you do the movements I'm sharing with you when you're watching the lecture components of the Foundations Week, because you might as well be doing footwork when you're watching these lectures. That's the whole point. These are the same things I do when I'm writing emails or checking my Facebook. So these are just easy go-tos. I've got a few things here. You don't need the same things I have, but these are nice ones. A dowel, an old squashy yoga tune-up ball. I have a couple of melt method balls here. These ones are expensive and not necessary, but you could get a similar type of ball at the dollar store, just little rubber bouncy balls. And I even have a shell because natural objects are quite nice to add to your foot care regime because they've got different shapes than the ball shape. And so you want to expose your feet to as many varied loads as you can as you start to rehab them. So if any of these seem like they're going to be uncomfortable for you, make sure to put them on a squishy mat. You could even put them on a folded blanket to make them even softer, or cover them with a blanket. So there's never a need to hurt yourself when you're doing this. And this is going to be just a super unstructured practice because when I'm writing emails, I'm not thinking about what I'm doing with my feet exactly. So your options here are really kind of endless. There's just casual rolling, and you can roll straight forward on your feet. You can swipe side to side on your feet. No magic to rolling at all. You can also, of course, use your smaller ball for rolling. I tend to prefer a smaller ball these days. I find it kind of gets into my bits a little bit better. As well as moving and rolling, you can just stop on top of your object and let your foot drape over it. So that's a pretty nice thing to do. And then after you've done a few rolls, why don't you try picking up your ball a few times? Try picking it up with your pinky toe. That's the hard side. I don't know about you, but my pinky toes basically are not part of my actual body. Much easier with the big toe and the more eager middle toes. So generally when you're trying to pick up a ball, you're going to find a squishier ball is easier. So my squishy ball is nice to pick up on. What I really like about picking up balls is that they are helping create the forefoot, the transverse arch of the forefoot. That's the movement that you want to help build up that forefoot arch. So it's nice to do a little bit of ball pickup work. And then you could go up to just standing on your thing. There's going to be a whole class about standing on balls because I can make it as complicated as I can make it easy. And today we're just making it easy. So when you're hanging out, just make sure to put your ball in a few different places as you're standing and stepping on it. And the same goes for standing on your shell. And of course the dowel is here because it's nice to stand on as well. So you can explore different areas of your feet to stand on it. You can stand with both feet or just one foot. And I would probably be moving a little slower than this if I were trying to write an email or thinking about stuff. But I just want to show you kind of stuff you can explore. So you can slow it down for sure or speed it up. The dowel could also be going long ways. Kind of nice, a little bit of balance there. So if balance is an issue for you, do this holding on to something and make sure that there aren't any dangerous objects in your area that you could slip and step on. So pretty nice stepping on a little dowel like so. Another thing you could do with it, if you felt like it was too rolly, if it was moving too much, just grab two rolled up or folded towels and rest the dowel on the towels. That's pretty easy to do. And then the final really nice little go-to for your toes would be to do a little toe stretch. So you can take your yoga tune-up ball, line up your toes so that they're being bent or extended backwards towards your shin, and then you can actually lift your foot up to increase the stretch. And if you want a bonus point on that one, you can lift your foot up and step forward with the other foot, and you'll get plenty of stretchy input onto your toes there. So just like so. You can do your big toe, you can do your middle toes, a little harder with the little toe, like the pinky toe, but all three of the middle guys for sure. And as well as doing this kind of passive stretch, you could try pressing into the ball with your toes. So just creating some force and pressing down. And same thing with the big toe. It can be in this stretched position just passively, or you can have it in the stretched position and then you can create some force and squish onto the ball a little bit. So lots of stuff you can do without really having to pay a lot of attention to it. And then the final variation or option that I like is this top of the foot stretch. We're going to do it lots in this program. It's really a core fundamental movement for the foot. But for now, non-technically, all you're going to do is pick up your foot, point your toes, land on the top of your foot, and then you can play around. So you can roll your ankle from side to side. You can adjust how much pressure you're using. For many of us, you're not going to want to use a whole lot of pressure, especially at first. So have your weight on your other side, but eventually you definitely want to start increasing that by shifting your weight so it's more evenly over your feet. And a little of that on the other side. And so it can just be straight back behind you. Try not to let your ankle collapse. Or you could try to get lots of ankle movement and really roll through your ankle there, getting a little bit of ankle work in as you're getting the top of the footwork in. Finally, of course, you could try toe lift and spread and just holding your toes nice and wide and spread. That's an option as well. And there you go. So little ideas for regular daily practice. These are things that absolutely I do at my standing desk. I often have little balls and stuff around the house. One of the keys to making movement work easier to do is to have your movement equipment accessible. Obviously more challenging if you have kids or pets or angry husbands around, but try to think about what will work for your life to make these little things accessible and easy to do, and you're for sure going to do them more often that way. Okay, so there you go. That's your first daily practice. Do it every day this week, and especially when you're watching the lectures. Okay, enjoy.